Take another look at those recycling bins out there, Jamie. They might be calling you to live out your Christian faith another way.
Oh, don't worry, Steve. I take care of the earth. Seriously, it's all a part of God's creation. Making choices about clean air, toxic waste, endangered species, and recycling plastic is intimately related to our call to be Christians.
Many young people polled agreed that indeed the earth is God's treasure given to us as a gift.
However, when asked about one's responsibility to care for this earth, most teens felt that either you do what you can, or if you're one of those environmentalists, go for it. Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Real Faith TV.
God has entrusted us with the role of stewards of the earth. The current state of creation, however, points to an abuse of this stewardship. We're called to act in response to this abuse.
The earth, our treasure or God's? That is what we will be talking about today.
Jen will talk with us today about the importance of preserving the earth and how, as her faith deepened, so did her concern for the earth.
Our music video today is Your Love, O Lord by Third Day. First, let's see what some teens that we talked to on the street thought about the earth. Our treasure or God's?
Do you believe that the earth is our treasure or God's?
Oh man. It's our place. It's our place to live. God made it for us. I don't necessarily think it's necessarily his or our treasure because he made it for us, so it's his, and we're his people.
Do you look at the earth as our treasure or God's?
I look at it as our treasure given to us by God. It is a gift, and we really need to treat it like that. Just consuming it is wrong, but killing the people that God created is equally, if not more, definitely more wrong.
God's treasure.
Our treasure, it's ours.
God's treasure because we're guests.
It's definitely God's treasure. He created us.
I think some people take the attitude they just don't care because of religion, but I think with other people it helps them care more about it because it's God's gift to us because creation shows God's love for us. Yeah.
Do you believe that the earth is God's treasure or do you believe it's our treasure?
I believe it's God's gift to us. We should take care of it. It's the home that he's made for us right now.
It is his, and I think he put us on earth just to make sure we take care of what he did.
Definitely God's. But I guess we have to keep it up because he's definitely not, well, he's here, but not physically.
I think it's both. God created the earth and us, which is a treasure to him. And again, we live on the earth, which is a treasure to us.
I agree with that, that it's both ours and his treasure.
I think that God created us in his image and likeness, and therefore he expects us to treat it as that it's a property of his, that we should care for it and treasure it as we treasure our lives.
Sounds good. How about we talk to our guests and see what they say about that. Joining us today are Jess, Beth, Joe, Kyle, and Vanessa.
Now, do you guys think that religion and your faith has anything to do with how you treat the earth?
I think totally because the earth, again, is God, is a gift that God has given us. And just like when you go outside to just look at all the beauty that he created for us, just amazing.
Mm-hmm. If someone gives you a gift, you don't take it and ruin it. You accept the gift and you love it and you treat it well. So you're not going to take this wonderful gift of the earth that God gave us and ruin it. We should treat it well and keep it nice like it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when you litter and stuff, it's as unimportant as it sounds, it's like you're telling God, I don't appreciate what you've been what you've blessed me with.
Do you look at the earth as our treasure or God's treasure?
Like the girl said on the video, she said that it's a gift from God, so it's our treasure, because just if you gave a gift to me, then I would keep that as my treasure, so God gave that gift to us.
In a way it can be both, because how there's that fact of the gift thing, where you should treasure it as it being your own, but then again you could also be taking care of it for someone else also. So basically, either way, we have to take care of it as it's either our gift or it belongs to someone else.
I think you could even look at it as, love, like how God said, love others as I have loved you. The same as love the earth as he has loved us. So he takes care of us. He doesn't throw gross things on us. We don't get showers of sludge.
This is true.
We should not put our litter all over the ground.
That was an interesting analogy.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, you know what? Next in our spotlight interview, Jen tells us how and why she thinks it's so important to take care of the earth.
Well, one of my favorite things to do in my free time is to go scuba diving. And I've seen a lot of really amazing stuff down at the bottom of the ocean. But one of the things that we run into a lot is coral reefs that have been totally destroyed, just totally bleached out by people dumping in the ocean and water pollution and that sort of thing. And for me, that's been one of the most moving things, just to see the amount of destruction that takes place that most people don't even know about. So I think after seeing things like that, it's made me very sure that, God means for us to take care of the earth and, to use it and to gain things from it, but also to take care of it because it is His treasure. I think the little drops, if it was just that one little drop, it wouldn't matter, but you've got 6 billion people in the world each adding their own little drops, and they don't think it matters, and in the end it does because it all adds up. And it really does destroy a lot of the beautiful resources that God created for us.
I agree. That's good stuff.
The creation stories of the Bible tell us that all of creation, not just humans, they have value. God created it all. And it's all good. It's all good.
These creation stories also tell us that we are called to play a distinct role in creation. We are called to be the caretakers of the earth.
Caring for the earth and all the creatures and creation in it can be done in our daily, choices. Some of these choices might be recycling, picking up stuff that you see on the ground, litter and stuff, and thoughtfully to conserve nature.
It's also important in getting involved in projects and that pass laws to protect our earth. So do you guys think, on the whole, that young people consciously take care of the earth?
No.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, people try, but they do so many things without even realizing it. Like something as small as having something that could be recycled and not recycling it, or dropping something and not bothering to pick it up. I mean, people don't realize all the things that they do, and then besides doing those things, they don't go out and do other things to help. They just go, someone else will do it, someone who cares more. They don't.
Even going to the beach, it's almost getting kind of gross now because you see all these soda cans and cigarettes and stuff, and people think oh, it's just one soda can, I'm sure somebody else will pick it up, like what Beth was saying. But it's just it's contributing to all the nastiness there.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you guys do personally to take care of the earth?
I
was gonna say recycling, that's a big deal, and also using recycled products. Do you know what I mean? Paper or whatever, because that's really saving trees and everything.
I think the whole conservation thing is also, it's being against materialism, and because we live in a throwaway society. It's you take it, you use it, and then you just well, someone else will take care of that, my junk, I don't need it anymore. And it's just with clothes too. I try, if I use all the clothes that I have, and if I got a pair of jeans, it's perfectly good. I don't need to go out and buy another pair. And I go to thrift stores and stuff. I love used clothing because it's a lot of stuff is perfectly good, but it's out of fashion, it's out of style. Somebody doesn't like the color, it stopped fitting, so they just give it away, and it's still good. But you can save material and just save things that people just throw away.
Yeah, there are so many little things you can do, like carpooling for air pollution and things like that. Riding a bike instead of taking a car. So many little things that people don't even realize and don't bother trying to do when they're just right there in front of you, so simple.
Yeah, eat leftovers instead of, making a new meal.
Yeah. And also I feel you ride your bike instead of riding in the car. You can enjoy nature and enjoy God's gift to you.
Also, something as simple as using both sides of the piece of paper instead of using maybe a couple lines on one and saying, oh, this is useless now, I'm throwing it out.
I have a whole, my folder, I've got the fresh paper and the scrap paper. Anytime I can use the scrap paper, that's what I use. I just use the back. There's all kinds of doodles on the back. But let's go back to our interview with Jen. In this, she talks about paying attention to the world around you?
Well, I mean, we see a lot of things on the land, with deforestation and things on the news. And I know living in New Jersey, we see a lot of littering and air pollution and things like that. And these are things that everybody sees, all the time. But I think we've become desensitized to it because we do see it all the time. And we start to think that it's not a big deal because, that's just the way things are. And, cutting down trees for farmland isn't really that big of a deal because that's just the way we live. So it's come to be accepted, and I don't think that it should be.
This not only hurts the animals that are living in the forest, the ocean, but it also hurts us.
Oh, of course, because it's all connected and our lives depend on their lives. And, I mean, granted, God does give humans sort of a privileged position in creation, but it doesn't mean that other life doesn't have value. And if we don't value that life in a way, we're not valuing our own. One of the most important things is just to pay attention and really to look around and see the different ways that people aren't taking care of the earth as well as they might. And not to settle for the things that society says are okay to do. If you know that cutting down a rainforest, even though that's sort of an overused example, but if you know that that's wrong, then, don't just let it go. Really think about that and look for ways that you can get involved. And I mean, something just as simple as not dumping stuff on the ground when you go to walk in the park or something like that. I don't think everybody has to be a big environmental activist if you just pay attention and take care of, the world around you. Taking care of the environment doesn't have to be a full-time job. I mean, you don't have to necessarily give up other things and put in all this extra time to do that. It's just extra little things that you can do in the course of your everyday life that really make the difference.
Treasuring our earth also involves getting involved politically. Sins against the environment are social sins, and that means that they're attitudes that are deeply entrenched in the political arena.
We need to consider a politician's environmental agenda before we vote. Does their agenda include abusing the natural resources, or does it offer money for researching how to use the resources more carefully and productively?
Some of us are not old enough to vote yet, but it doesn't hurt to start learning about these issues so that when we have the power to vote, we can use it wisely.
Now, how can any of you become involved with helping care for the earth?
I guess get involved with a group or an organization that cleans up once in a while or every day for that matter.
And park cleanups and recycling and spreading the awareness of recycling through your community. Anything of that nature would be good too.
I think also you can go to town meetings and stuff. I know that my town has a society that tries to buy land, to conserve it, so buildings won't be built there or whatever, to keep it open space, and you can just go to those meetings and give your thoughts or whatever to support them.
Even be more conscious about littering. Think before you drop that next soda can or something like that.
Even if you're walking along and you see a soda can or some sort of trash, don't look at it and go, I can't believe somebody dropped that and left that there. Pick it up. I mean, if you're thinking about how horrible it is that they did that, then why are you just leaving it there? Pick it up and throw it out.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty sometimes. You see all the trash, but it's
I mean,
I'm well, I can just wash my hands when I get home, and I just pick up all the candy wrappers.
Or you can get a paper towel or tissue or a glove or something to pick it up with.
And I remember there's all kinds of park cleanups, and one time we had this big on the hill by my house. There's all this glass and all these beer bottles that people throw down there, and it was an Earth Day or something. The whole place got together, the town, and all the kids, we tethered ourselves and went down the hill. It was fun, and we just had a fun day. Everybody just cleaned up the place, and it was nice.
Cool.
In our last segment with Jen, she talks about how her faith impacts her views on involvement in caring with the earth. So we'll check that out now.
Well, I think being in touch with God and being a committed Christian, it's made me much more aware of how God wants me to make decisions and how he wants me to live my life. And a lot of people think of that more in terms of, your relationships with other people and ministering to them and, making decisions when it comes to parties and relationships and things like that. But I mean, it's easy to forget about the earth and that this is God's creation, and He does want us to live here and take advantage of it and use the resources wisely. But we also have a responsibility to take care of it and to preserve it for all the other, individuals that are going to live on this planet. So I think being in touch with God has affected all my decisions in every aspect of my life, including how I want to treat my environment. I don't think I always used to care as much as I do. It just wasn't really a priority to me. I figured, we could leave all that stuff to the people that are, really into the environment and, the people that join all those clubs at school. And I figured that was sort of their problem. But I think it was really when I started diving that I realized the extent of the destruction and how much we don't even see. And that really sort of made me think differently about it and got me looking at things in a different way. So I guess, if you had to point to a spot where I really changed my mind, that would be it. I definitely didn't used to be as aware of all the problems as I am now. And as I've matured and become a more committed Christian, that's happened too. My responsibility to God's creation has definitely deepened as I've deepened my faith. Once you see something as beautiful as a coral reef is, I really don't see how anyone who's seen that could not want to save it. I mean, it's just so beautiful and so perfect. And it's such a wonderful gift from God. And I can't imagine, after you've had firsthand experience with that, how you could let things like that slip by. So I think that's what really did it for me. That's what really got me paying attention.
I really agree with Jen with what she said about seeing the coral reef and how it changed her whole outlook on conserving nature and helping to preserve the beauty.
Yeah. That must have been so amazing to see something so beautiful like that. A lot of times, I look at the clouds and I think clouds are one of the coolest things of God's creation. Yeah. And I think it must be really sad for the people in the city or whatever that have all the pollution. They can't view that.
Mm-hmm. I think you got to think about the future and the kids in 100 years and in 1,000 years, are they going to still be able to see the same, when you go up on a mountain, you just see how beautiful it is. Are they going to see that too? Or are they going to have to see smog and clouds of smoke and trash everywhere? And you have to think about the future and how this is going to affect them. And that's why I think you need to teach the children, especially at an early age. You got to start with, you have to take care of the earth now. And you have to ingrain it in their heads that, instead of, you take that can and you put it in the recycling thing, don't put it in the trash. And it needs to become so they don't forget it, so they remember to keep our earth clean.
I think it's important to start telling kids things like that when they're younger. I still remember when I was in the 3rd grade, we planted rhododendron bushes all in the back of the school. And I still remember having to do that. So I think that it's important to start young, teaching kids about keeping the environment clean and stuff, because it'll stick with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah, did anybody have any awakening experiences? This is when you realize that the earth needs to be saved? Or?
Well, when I was in science class, we were talking about the ozone layer, and before that we talked about it so many times, it didn't really matter to me. What does this have to do with me? And I found out about the pollution, how it's just it's destroying it, and think of years from now, where are we going to be? How is it going to affect the earth?
Mm-hmm.
I think even in things every car has an ashtray, right? But people they want to keep their possessions clean. They say, oh well, this is my possession. I want to keep it clean. So they throw their cigarette butt out the window, and it goes onto the grass, by the trees. And it's adding to the pollution. It's well, you could put that in the trash. If you need to smoke, you can take care of your own things and put it somewhere where it's not going to destroy the natural beauty that's all around us.
Yeah. Exactly. Even on the beach, I went to the beach a couple of days ago, and if you were just digging in the sand, you'd come across a lot of cigarette butts, and it was
yeah,
okay.
You don't need to leave it there. You can take it away. Put it somewhere at least where put it in a dump or something, somewhere where it won't be spread all out over our earth where it's destroying everything. So there's no beauty.
Yeah, I could see the weather personnel in a few years saying, yeah, instead of a cloudy day, it's going to be a nice smog-filled day. Or instead of it rains, it's going to be filled with acid rain.
We need to adapt an attitude of earth-wise living and sustain ourselves with methods that diminish the harm done to the whole community of life by changing our ways. I think something that you have to keep in mind is that God, He made us, and He also made all the earth, and He made all the creatures that live on the earth. And I think that He expects, everyone, we have to treat, just as we have to treat each other, we have to, we can't hurt each other. We can't hurt the earth because it's like our partner, it's just like our brothers and sisters. The earth was also made by God too, and we have to respect that, and we have to respect all of God's creations, even though it can't talk or it can't, you don't know, like how it's special, even though it may not be able to communicate with us.
Like you say, God created everything, and in everything that He created is His love, on land, in sea, in air, all of that, and that's how it reaches to everywhere.
And if you want the future, if you want the kids to still be experiencing the same thing, and in years from now, if we write a poetry about how beautiful, the ocean is, in 100 years, are they going to be able to read the poem and relate? Are they going to say, what is this? What are they talking about?
What's an ocean?
Yeah, I don't want
that would be a problem.
I don't want my children to look at pictures like they have to relate. They have to relate to like a movie or something to understand what we're talking about when we talk about how beautiful the earth is.
What do you guys think about that?
I don't want my kid in a few years to say like, yeah, what's a surfboard? What's the ocean? What are surfboards used for? I can't see
They don't
that.
experience the fun things that, because we use the earth, you don't have to use it and abuse it. You can use it and keep it the way it is, but still have, just experience the beauty and still have fun.
That's so true.
And if we don't take care of the earth, we're not going to have a place to live.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, well, guys, it's been really awesome. You guys have had so much to say about, nature and our earth and preserving it, and I want to thank you guys so much for it. We have not lived up to God's plan for us as stewards. Many of the decisions we have made in becoming a more industrial nation have served to make us wealthier at the expense of the earth.
We have cut down rainforests to make more profitable farms. We abuse animals and treat them like machines in order to make more money.
In considering how we care for the earth, we cannot forget to evaluate how we spend the earth's resources.
Wasting or hoarding water, food, and energy while there are countries with little or nothing to eat is not in keeping with being stewards of the earth.
If we believe that the earth is God's treasure, then it is our obligation to share the resources equally with all of its inhabitants.
Do you treasure and care for our earth? Let us know what you think through our website.
The address is realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
Until next time, remember that God alone is sovereign over the whole earth.
We're all responsible for ensuring that nature thrives as God intended.
God bless you, and we'll see you next time on Real Faith TV.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.